True love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. Thinking what this life has to mean to you, and I like to say, why sleep? I was hoping when awake we'll make our dreams come true. Didn't hear me say, love can always count on me. Hey, 'cause I'm always where I'm supposed to be. Changed, my life changed when night came and we came together for love. It seems that life's strange 'cause light came when dark flames had came to come tear up our love. And I don't wanna play no games, no. Just a baby in the day you give me your last name. Oh, our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
Talk with no dry eyes, it's sunsets on that sky ride. Her hands up, no high vibe, I'm so high, I skydive. My life now feels screwed up, we don't move or we don't move up. I swear life is a ghost town, 'cause all we do is stay glued up. I can't lose you, I'll fight back, 'cause who can give me these nights back? Just arches up in that nice back. She drunk in love with no nightcap, just come for me and my block scars. Won't take long to see rock hard, just a wedding ring that's rock hard, and long nights when I'm rock hard.
There might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and my true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
Shots fired at ScrewTube, but shots out to you carbon babies. This is your melanated warrior, Heru Heinous, and this is another installment of Facts Over Feelings. Leave your feelings at the door so we can get to the facts, because the facts are the only things that matter in a race where the first one to the mind is the winner. So, matter of fact, let me make sure, can y'all hear me all right? Let me get ones in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. So I know it's going to be a delay. Let's go ahead and make sure you guys can hear me before we get started. So, see if we get ones in the chat. I'm going to wait because we got some, this is going to be part 2 with some explosive shit. Okay, so we got some ones in the chat. We got ones. All right, we got ones. That's what's up. Let me see a little bit. Let me see everybody. All right. All right, definitely. All right, so let's get started because we're going to recap a little bit, but this recap is extremely important because obviously it's going to tie into a lot of other things. And I was thinking about it. I remember leaving a comment in the comment section of the previous video, and I thought that I forgot some, which I did, but then I thought, thought again, and I was like, oh, I was supposed to talk about that in the next segment because, you can't give all the juice, all at once and stuff. And so it leads up, it's going to be sort of like the nail in the coffin sort of thing. So I hope you guys are going to be, you should be excited about this segment because it's going to be eye-opening, and of course it's going to trail off into the new subject matter that will obviously be the center of our, where we're going to need to focus our attention on in the next couple of segments that'll be coming up. So let's get it. So without any further ado, let's get into it because, we were talking about some of the things that were extremely important, right? In terms of the symbolism, right? A lot of the things we didn't convey because we felt like you guys had already known that already. You already knew about his, the discrepancies on the death certificate where he was 6 foot tall and 180 pounds. You knew about Suge Knight's son releasing photos, right? Talking about he got photos of 50 Cent and Tupac and Beyonce and Tupac together. You knew about the euthanasia chain that Tupac wore on the night that he was shot. Euthanasia is a play off of euthanasia. Euthanasia is the, someone taking their life to relieve pain and suffering. It was obvious that we knew from Pac that he detailed, in his songs, he detailed a lot about death. All right. That was one of the things that stood out to me, even when I was, in the stage, back then of admiring the music. Sidebar, one thing that I think is interesting too, even when we talk about Big, even though his style wasn't the same as Pac's, it also was amazing to me how the title of his albums was kind of like the same too. His first album was Ready to Die, and then the second album was Life After Death. So it was just the death and the energy of death surrounding these artists, which we're going to get into a little bit too as well. But we got to get into some real earth-shaking information too. That's going to put the nail in the coffin. But that was the thing. But what we did was we showed you the deeper symbolism, especially in the name. We know about the power of names. We talked about his name, Tupac Amaru Shakur, which he was named after Tupac Amaru II, who felt like the Tupac Amaru II that we're talking about felt like he was the grandson of the great grandson of Tupac Amaru, who was the last Inca ruler, right? And as we had stated before, all 3 of these Tupacs had died a public execution. All right. So that was, that's uncanny to say the least. But the biggest part about all of this, as we go back, and I'm going to share my screen, and I want you guys to let me know that you can hear me as I share my screen too. So hold on one second. See. Oh, that's not it. All right, so what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna share my screen, and we about to get right into it. Let me prep it first. Because we showed you this. Let me see. Let me prep it first. Where did it go? All right, there it go. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. These damn ads, it's ridiculous. All right, okay, so I'm looking in the chat. Give me, you guys give me a 1 if you can still hear me as the screen is being shared. So I'm gonna wait a second. Give me a 1 up in the chat if you could if you guys can still hear me while the screen is being shared. Okay, I'm waiting, and we're gonna get started. Okay, we got ones. All right, let's get to it. All right, so now we know everything rocking and rolling. We can start operating at light speed. Okay, so we seen this. I showed you guys this photo and we thought it was uncanny. Now we talked about how it was uncanny that Tupac, when he did this outfit, when he makes his outfit change, second outfit change, only outfit change, rather, wardrobe change in the video. Brenda's Got a Baby, he changes into the UNLV shirt and the UNLV hat. He had already started the video off in the UNLV Scully and the UNLV coat. So it like we said, it's crazy how UNLV is this connection, and why? Because we know that they operate in terms of giving you the information through signs and symbols, or giving you what you need to know through signs and symbols. Now, the other reason why this is so important is because if you guys had an opportunity to read the comment section, which I know some of you probably haven't had the opportunity to do so, but I'm gonna tell you right now, who else went to UNLV? Suge Knight went to UNLV. So this is the thing. What are the chances? What are the chances of this guy wearing the clothing that would foreshadow where he would not only get shot at, where he would also go to the hospital and eventually die at a hospital that works with UNLV, and also be in the car with the guy who went to UNLV? What's the chances? How much symbolism do we need? And then, like we said, his album was called Tupacalypse. We know apocalypse means the great reveal. So it's we have two artists, Tupac and Biggie, who just inundate themselves with this energy of death. Tupac always talked about death. Biggie named his album after death, and we have him on a label called Death Row. This is the thing. The elite were really conducting a grand experiment on us. They put so much heavy symbolism in front of our face. Like they said, if you tell a lie, go big or go home. And they really went big on this one. And because we were so emotionally involved with these characters, we could not see it right in front of our face. And that's what is so alarming. That's what is so egregious. And that's what we should take from all of this, because we can see that when we're emotionally attached to anything that they give us, this only works to our detriment. All right, this only works against us. So let's go and let's go to some of these articles. I'm gonna share an article right quick. We're gonna run through a couple articles and then we're gonna get into obviously the meat of this. And I'm gonna obviously go in and out. But what we want to do is we want to take a look at your boy right quick, Suge. We want to take a look at Suge. Okay, just to set the timeline. This is from Timeline, Suge Knight's Run-Ins with the Law, a timeline by Jeff Rosenthal. Okay, all right. 1985 to 1986, Suge heads off to UNLV to play football. So just so that you know, ain't nobody making nothing up. Here go the receipts, all right? Well-built defensive end, his 6'4" frame, and his talent outweighed any concerns anyone has about a possible affiliation with the Bloods. Wayne Nunley, his head coach, says. Now, this is at a time when, like we said, they don't even really mess with Negroes like that. And yet, all of these things that you're going to see and all of this controversy surrounding Suge, nobody is concerned about because he has a role to play, and we know that. And we'll continue on, and we're going to substantiate that. 1987, though not drafted, he ends up playing in the NFL for 2 games, lining up for the LA Rams during the players' strike. All right. Meanwhile, off the field in October, he gets into numerous arguments with his girlfriend, Sharitha Golden, leading her to file a massive restraining order covering herself and her mother, sister, and aunt. Threats are made. He tampers with her car, according to Sullivan. Golden called the cops on Suge after he grabbed her by the hair and cut off her ponytail. All right. 2 weeks later, on Halloween night, Suge is arrested after shooting a man in the leg and wrist while attempting to carjack the guy's Nissan Maxima. Police find Knight with a .38 Smith & Wesson revolver tucked into his waistband. His reputation as a UNLV athlete intact and aided by the help of a powerful attorney, the judge sends him off with a $1,000 fine and 3 years probation. Aided by the help of a powerful attorney. We're going to pause. Let's go sidebar because, man, we finna go back and forth through some of these articles, and I'm finna show you how important all of this stuff is. Remember, one of our mantras here at the FOF Squad is what? Reading comprehension. If you cannot understand what you have read, nigga, you cannot read. They understand that, but see, they don't really have this problem anyways because they know that we're not doing too much reading anyway, anyhow. So let's do a sidebar right quick and remind you of some information that we have presented in the previous segment, which is going to be critical in this one, and is obviously going to play a big role in us garnering even more clarity regarding all of this controversy or all of this conspiracy theory, as they like to put it, right? So let's go to hold on, let me bring it up right quick. Let me bring it up as we do the sidebar. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Oh, this gonna be one. I'm telling you, I'm finna go ham. I should get a round of applause after this one, you guys, because I'm bringing the heat on this one. I'm putting nails in coffins, and we gonna run through it. All right, hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second, just to see where this article is at. All right, yeah. So this is the article. So I'm gonna share my screen. All right. Now remember, we told you about this woman right here. This woman is Leila Steinberg. Okay, now look at the story. Now, one thing I want you to remember, if I said at any point in time, if you guys have any issues with what I'm saying, in terms of me not providing the resources for everything that I say, I'm only bringing forth information that that obviously will be that we've already brought forth in the previous segment. So I'm never talking out the side of my neck is what I need you to understand. Okay, because in the previous article, if you remember, when I introduced this character that we call Leila Steinberg, recall it stated that she had Tupac go live with her husband in that article. See, now you're going to start to see conflicting statements. This all goes about, like we said, one, they know we don't read, and two, when they put this information in here, because most people don't have reading comprehension, it still goes over their head. But we're going to examine this, and I'm going to show you exactly what they're communicating to you, because we know that they communicate through signs and symbols. So let's start by reading a little bit of this article. All right. Now, on August 2nd, 1989, Tupac signed his first contract with Atron Gregory and Leila Steinberg as his exclusive personal manager. Leila Steinberg, born December 18, 1961, is an American manager, businesswoman, educator, writer, poet, and founder of Aim for the Here. She is best known as the artist, mentor, and first managed for superstar rapper Tupac Shakur. They met when he was a student in her writing workshop, the Microphone Sessions in the Oakland Bay area. Now look at this story. Watch how this all unfolds. This is her right here if you haven't seen her. Right? And remember, we know that from the previous article, it stated that she was a part of Tupac's career throughout the duration of his career, even up until his so-called death. Right? So this is a person who stayed in here, because we know this is a handler. She's going to convey that in this article. Let's continue to keep reading. It says, let's go. It talks a little bit about Atron. All right. He's, founder of the world-class wrecking crew, all of that different shit. All right. So this is what, all right, it talks about that but he wanted to carve out an identity of his own. That meant going back to rap in Marin, where he met a young white woman, Leila Steinberg. Okay, so now this is important. And this is what she says in the interview. So this is her own words. So this obviously is a lot more reliable in terms of us getting closer to understanding exactly what's going on, right? And so here's some quotes. I'm not going to play that video, right? But we're going to read the quotes from that. It said, They happened on each other in a park one afternoon, not far from where Leila, an accomplished singer and dancer, was giving workshops on using music to build self-esteem. Remind you, always keep in the back of your mind, she's also a criminal defense attorney. So when we just got off that article about Suge, about, her, him having access to powerful attorneys, you got to be able to put two and two together. And this is not far-fetched, because we're going to show you some other key players, and all of these people are involved with one another. But I digress. Let's continue to keep reading. I was reading Winnie Mandela's A Part of My Soul Went With Him, she remembers, when I hear a voice behind me say, "That's a good one. It really moves well." I turn around and see this stunning young man. "You really read it?" You really read it? I ask. And Tupac begins reciting quotations from memory. By the time they finished talking, Leila, a single mother of 3 little girls, had offered him a room in her Sonoma County house, and Tupac had appointed her his manager. "So my business is going to be handling you," laughed Leila. "What's yours?" "Mine," said Tupac, deadly serious, "is young black males." So she's sitting up here. Obviously, she's help propagate the myth too as well. But as you can see, let me look at you when I talk to you about this, and we got to ask ourselves, is this really believable? So you telling me the origin story of this lady meeting Tupac, he walks up on her while she's reading a book. They have a conversation. By the end of the conversation, this lady says, "You know what? You want to move in the house with me and my 3 little girls?" Perfect stranger. This is a story we're supposed to believe, and this is not his handler. Hold on, let me look at the chat, man. Come on, man. Let me look at the chat. This stuff is ridiculous. Let me look at the chat. So this is a story that we're supposed to believe, but we digress. Let's show you, because this added to the myth. This is what she's saying. Oh, Tupac saying his responsibility is all black males. We know that's got to be a little falsehood too, because if he fully bought into that responsibility, Tupac wouldn't have played a gang. He wouldn't have played a homicidal maniac in Juice. He wouldn't have played a crooked cop in his movies. He wouldn't have played, all of these. And mind you, he even tried out for the role of menace to society. But remember, this is this dualism that we talking about. Pause. Another sidebar. Let's sidebar to the sidebar. We're gonna be moving quickly, but we about to stump a mud hole in this shit, right? So let's go back. Let me pull this up. Let me prep this right quick. That's not the article. All right. So I got that article prepped. Let me share my screen. Okay. So remember this. Remember when we told you about the dude who went to Baltimore School of Arts with Tupac Shakur and he painted the Shakur spear? It showed you the duality. We see light and darkness. We understand the Gemini concept. We're showing you that the heavy symbolism in the book. With him only, obviously, if there's a lock on the book, it suggests that he's the only one who has the key. And remind you, all of everything that Tupac did was in the Middle Ages format, Renaissance form. That's what he wanted to, that's the symbolism that he wanted to use in order to communicate what was going on with him. Also the fact, including the fact that he was complicit in all of these things. And that's what we're going to prove without a shadow of a doubt. So this is what you see. All right. So let's go back. Now we've established two things. We showed you that Leila Steinberg got a hell of a whack-ass story talking about the origins of how she met the dude she would become the handler of. I met him while I was reading a book, if you're going to believe this. After they have a 3-4 hour conversation, that's enough to substantiate that this dude is trustworthy enough to live in her home with her 3 kids. Pause. Let's do another sidebar right quick, just to let you know how crazy this stuff is. Let's go to, the consensus in 1980 through 1980 through 2010. We're going to show you the first category is white. The second one is black African American. She lived in Sonoma County. All right. So this is going to show just in decades. So we're not going to superimpose the way things are now from, the way things could have been back then. I'm going to show you exactly what the ratio was back then. In Sonoma County in 1980, 267,000 white folks versus a little over 3,000 blacks. In 1990, 327,000 versus 5,000 blacks. 2000, 341,000. So I guess it's safe to say, as you can see these figures, that he moved into a predominantly white neighborhood with this woman. All right. That's what you need to know. All right, so let's get back to it. So we're setting the environment. You're setting the stage. You're getting to know who his handler was. Obviously, she worked in government. That's what you have to understand. So let's go back to the article with Suge. Okay. 1988. So we talked about the 2 weeks Halloween night he shot a man in the leg and wrist. 1988, he reportedly assaults someone at a Los Angeles International Airport. 1990, he's doing security for Bobby Brown. He breaks a man's jaw, beats him with a weapon. $9,000 fine, 2 years suspended sentence. He just gets probation. 1991, Suge sees the record industry as a way of legitimizing the money he's already been making. And so this is his incident with so-called the Vanilla Ice thing, where he so-called dangled the Vanilla Ice outside of over a balcony. All right. No charges for that. Excuse me. Let me go down. 1992, they go down to it says a few months later, George and Linwood Stanley, a duo hoping to sign a death row, were attacked by Knight, who ordered them to their knees at gunpoint and fired one shot near them. Knight then beat Linwood Stanley with the gun, then ordered both brothers to take off their pants. Okay, this was because they've used an office phone without permission. Knight gets a 9-year suspended sentence. Remember this. He pleaded no contest to both counts of assault in 1994. This would be 2 strikes in California. It don't matter about the strikes. This nigga getting probation for pistol whipping niggas and carjacking niggas, okay? 1995, on January 18th, he's hit with a charge of conspiracy to illegally possess a firearm. So he just got guns, drugs, pistol whipping. Okay, a month later, he submits a guilty plea to 2 counts of assault with a firearm. Once again, he'll serve no jail time. At a death row party in April, Kelly Jamison was beat to death. No one was arrested, but Suge Knight was thought to be involved in some way. On the night of August 3rd, on stage at the Source Awards, Suge delivers the most terrifying accepting speech ever made. Blah, 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 all this different shit, okay? That's not all. Okay. 1996, Bruce Richardson, a high school friend of Suge's, had become a rival, built up his own company to mirror Death Row. Then he has altercations with that guy. All right. So that details that. But what we're getting here is that all these things that Suge did, he never serves any jail time. He's trafficking cocaine. He has gun charges, okay? He's pistol whipping people. All of this different stuff, all right? So, and he has powerful attorneys and powerful people on his side. We're going to show you why this is significant. This is extremely significant. And anybody in the hood can testify. Ain't no way. If you see a nigga from the hood and he, say for instance, he get a gun charge and he out next week, man, niggas, come on, man. Put it in the chat. How many people, you know what I'm saying, will see that nigga is a snitch? If you hear about a nigga going back and forth to court, gun charges, cocaine charges, and he keep getting out, what would you say that nigga was? You would claim that nigga working with the government. Am I right or am I wrong? If this nigga keep going in and out, gun charges, beating niggas with guns, shooting niggas in the leg, just getting probation, niggas in the hood would be like, no, that nigga work with the police. That's police right there. Niggas would be calling you the 12. They would be calling you the 12. But because you guys see this wrapped into a narrative of death row, because you didn't understand how intricately linked these individuals are to the state and how the CIA uses these individuals, but we know that it's even deeper than the CIA, but we're just saying, we're letting you know that this is a government-run operation. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. And our emotional attachment doesn't allow us to see this. These people are key players in all of this. You're going to understand that. And it's all about heavy symbolism. All right. So the point that you got to understand from that, in order for all of this to take place, especially with Suge, the lawyer's high-powered lawyer, ain't enough lawyering in the world. Ain't enough lawyering in the world, right, to get you out of those circumstances. And how do we know that? Because remember what Suge went to jail for. Suge got 9 years in prison for the beating of Orlando Anderson. Hold up, pause. You get 9 years in prison for beating Orlando Anderson. Not no time in prison for shooting somebody in the leg, whipping somebody over the, pistol whipping somebody, pistol whipping another person and their brother and stuff, forcing them to get naked, gun running, drug running. You didn't get no prison time for that. But beating Orlando Anderson, yeah, that'll get you 9 years in prison. And some would say that, oh, okay, that probably because he reached 3 strikes. No, 3 strikes is 3 strikes and you're out. He should have got life according to that federal law. But the reality of it is showing you who plays this game. Judges, lawyers, doctors, police officers, okay, teachers, the banks, the colleges, all this institutional framework that you have set up, all plays this game. That's how they get away with it. It's not about how much power Suge has. It's about how much power they gave Suge. Do you understand what I'm talking about? These people played these roles and they could be as gangster as they wanted to be, all because they knew they would get away with it. His rap sheet details that. Suge rap sheet details that. Okay? These are all actors. All right? And they can play these roles. And don't get me wrong, just because you acting don't mean that you're not actually doing anything. You better get that right. These are sophisticated rituals. You must understand that. Just because even when we see things in these movies, don't assume that they're not real. Look at the trouble Alec Baldwin going through. Didn't he murder somebody on his own movie, on the set? Look at Bruce Lee's son. Didn't he die on set? Look up and research how many stuntmen die in these movies. How many people die in these movies. How many animals die in these movies. You're dealing with a very sick people, and we're going to prove that without a shadow of a doubt by the end of this segment. Your eyes are going to be open, and then we're going to basically demystify a lot of the concepts that seem to be funneled through the conscious community, which gives us this idea that this is a new coming. No, they always been this way. They always been this way. You're dealing with a very sick culture. A very sick culture. Okay? All right. So, basically what we're going to do, we're going to bring up another article. We're going to bring up another article to show you the symbolism, okay? To show you the symbolism. All right, I'm finna share my screen with you guys. All right, let's get it. Okay, this article was All Eyes on Me, Vibes Magazine, 1996 Death Row cover. The only thing wilder than Death Row Records' rise was its public and violent fall. All by design. All right, by Justin Tinsley. Okay. Appropriately titled Live from Death Row. Vibes February 1996 cover featured the already notorious label faces Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Suge Knight, and Tupac Shakur in Goodfellas inspired collage. To understand the significance of the cover image is to understand the chain of events that led to it and to the label's downfall shortly thereafter. So we're going to go down and we're going to get to the meat of this because we're not going to hold you up because we still got, I ain't even got to the meat of none of this yet. We just, you know, I see some fire emojis in the chat. We ain't even got started yet. I'm here, I'm telling you, man, before this segment is over with, you guys will be thoroughly convinced that I am, without a doubt, without any equivocations, without any reservations, the most dangerous mind on ScrewTube. All right. And speaking of ScrewTube, they've been fucking with your boy numbers and everything. I had a few people send me some messages and be like, man, your live was still living. And you know, they playing with the numbers. They don't never really want to show who in the chat. But yet, like I said, I always exceed my numbers of subscribers because they know I be bringing the heat. Niggas talking about they be bringing shit. They don't be bringing it like this, man. This is the FOF squad. Let's get into it. All right. Now, mind you, look at this. I want y'all to see the energy of these statements. This is why they put these things in bold, because this is what they want you to take out from it. If you ever written a paper in college, what you put in bold print is what you want the reader to go or leave away with. That's what you have to understand. So in bold print, it says in that 1996 cover, it says we could have put Tupac on the cover every single month and it would have sold. There was nobody that our readership cared about and reacted to the way that they responded to him. So this is an emotional gauge that they're using. They are emotionally gauging the public. Who are they into and what? And now, mind you, you go back to this cover, you got to think about this. There were about 3 magazines. One came later. You had Vibe and you had The Source, because this is pre-internet, you know. So Vibe and The Source, these magazines were our source to figure out about these artists, okay? To obviously get more information about our favorite artists, so, you know, saying so to speak, right? So Double XL came later. So Vibe and The Source, this is the thing that's key. You have to know that, you know, Quincy Jones is a handler too as well. We always heard about the rumor where Pac had stated that Quincy Jones wanted to have sex with him, allegedly, right? But here's you go, you'll know that Quincy Jones, like we said before and established, has always been in and around Pac's life, okay? If you know that one of Tupac's producers throughout his lifetime was QD3, which is the grandson of Quincy Jones. Not to mention at the time of Pac's death, Pac was dating Quincy Jones' daughter. All right, or granddaughter, whoever she was. And not to mention, he's on the cover of Vibe. Who started Vibe magazine? Quincy Jones. Okay, so all of these players are involved. Everybody knows everybody. But let's go into the deep symbolism though too, because we want you to know that everything they did with symbolism. This was even symbolic, but this goes over our head. And let me tell you what they tried to convey to you, right? As we go off into this article, right? We're going to go down. We're going to go down. All right, give me 1 second. 1 second. All right. Now, pause. Sidebar. I want you to remember this guy. This guy is, you know, is real close with Pac. This guy we're going to discuss. So just remember this. We're going to take a snapshot in your mind, because when we go into the next video, this shit is going to be deep. So remember this. This guy right here, George Price, he just died in 2022 in November, I believe. So he died last year. All right. And he was called Papa to them. They would call this man Papa. Papa Hollywood is what they called him. He was the, and this guy was, extremely wealthy from the industry, a big player, and you're finna see that. We're finna get into him, right? We're finna get off into the hidden figures behind these individuals, all right? But this guy right here was, the director of communications and media relations for Death Row, right? And even Suge Knight is even, I lost that video, but I will make sure that I find that for you guys. But trust me when I tell you, there's a video where Suge has an interview and he's talking about they didn't move without Papa Hollywood. They called him Papa Hollywood. Supposedly, the story goes that Snoop gave him that name and everybody else just start calling him that. All right, but I digress. Let's continue to keep moving on. All right. All right. So this is where we go. It's like okay, so here we go. All right. Nahum shot them all, though he had no idea the photos would be used in print. That responsibility fell to Dito Ram, Vibe's lead and art direction for the issue. The shoot was unusual, with Vibe opting not to send its own photo unit to California, but rather working with what Death Row sent back. They're working with what Death Row sent back because this man right here has a ton of power. This man right here. Well, let's go. Oh, skipped it. Right here. He has a ton of power. This George Price dude. There, he's the one, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give you the receipts for that too as well, just to show you how I'm able to connect these dots. All right. All right. So let's go back to it. Right now, understand the era. This is what they're trying to get you to understand. Look at the temperature that they built right around Death Row, and we're talking about the whole socio-political climate of America at this time that the Illuminati, so-called Illuminati, are working on, right? Now, look what this article says. It says they were protagonists, rap superheroes to many. So much of what made Death Row a cultural fixture of the mid-90s was its willingness to create timeless art through the lens of tragedy. Death Row Records was a byproduct of the post-Reaganomics, crack cocaine era that transformed South Central Los Angeles into a 1980s war zone. The music, profoundly explicit, was the embodiment of neighborhoods and fractured households, ripped to shreds by a society that would have forgotten about it had it not been for hip hop. All right, this is what these people are saying, right? All right, so let's continue to keep going down. Now we're going to go and get into the symbolism of this, told to you by the people who actually put this together. All right, so let's go on. Let me find it. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Hold on, cause I got it. All right, I must have passed it. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So this is a little backdrop too. It'll say so. Kevin Powell, who wrote Vibe's first cover story about Snoop, became Shakur's unofficial biographer in the years since. He was assigned to the story, this Kevin Powell dude, providing an in-depth glimpse into the life of rap's ferocious first family. This is how they labeled them. Remind you, this dude right here is responsible for marketing Death Row to you guys. This dude right here, who is a part of the occult, he is responsible for this. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to provide you even more evidence, all right? About how to portray them on the cover proved a less straightforward mission. Ken Nahum was Death Row's in-house photographer, a gig, the white Jewish guy from New York, quote, end quote. So you see all these Jewish people around Tupac, not just the lady who discovered him, but obviously now the guy who's going to be, you know, his personal photographer and more or less documenting all Tupac movements and shit is this white Jewish guy from New York. Okay. And, so, and we talked about George Price. He's they say he was the former director of communications and media relations, right? Because Death Row is dissolved, so he can't be their communications and media relations individual in any ways, right now. So Price had created the short-lived Modern Black Man magazine in the 80s, for which Nahum had done a series of shoots. So they had worked together, right? So he calls this guy in that they had already worked together with, right? Okay, so So let's go down just a little bit because I got to show you guys, like I said, we're going to get to the symbolism, all right? Because I know I've been going around it a little bit, but we're going to get into it. I just have to find it because I remember when I read this article. I read a lot of articles. I just got to remember where this paragraph is at, right? Okay. Now here it goes, all right? Nahum shot them all. Now, I want you guys to listen carefully to these paragraphs so that you know exactly this is where I'm getting at, because I had a sense of some comments that I got from some people, not the FOF squad, that people were like, oh, it was open to interpretation. Yeah, that's art naturally, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that these people had put forth a concerted effort to put, you know what I'm saying, to give you what they wanted you to take in, which your higher self took in without any reservation. But the conscious you couldn't take it in because, like we said, you were emotionally attached to what they were presenting to you. But from the horse's mouth, you're going to see what the impression that they wanted to give off. Okay, so let's continue to keep reading. Nahum shot them all, although he had no idea how the photos would be used in print. That responsibility fell to Ditto Ram. So we went through that. All right. So it says Ram pieced together photos. It was not created in Photoshop as the application was not yet in wide use. It was a composition of 4 different images in the style of a medieval painting where the kings always used a thinking position. That's why you see Pac with his finger to his hand. to his head. That's also Masonic. You already know this though. Where the kings always use a thinking position and the young princes a more agile position, said Ram, now CEO and creative director of Relevance, a media agency based in Hamburg, Germany. Ram saw death row as a little bit of a house of secrets, quote, end quote. Powell's piece revealed the inner workings of the label, but Ram desired a more mysterious ambiance in the tenor of a secret society. He had the work digitally composed and darkened so that only the part of the light fell on Snoop, Dre, Tupac, and Suge's faces. The trick was to do a lot without doing too much. The faces are placed like a cross, said Ram, giving a subtle thought of the secret power of the protagonist. Pause. Are y'all feeling what I'm presenting to you right now? You're dealing with the elite and dark symbolism. This is right from the horse's mouth. Hold on, let me check the chat. Let me check the chat. All right. So, I'm seeing some comments in here. Moonface say playing their roles. Angela Fraser says that's deep. Self-reprogramming replied to Latoya Hayes, said facts, blood in, blood out. Latoya Hayes said, I can't even get my notifications already. You already know what ScrewTube about. You know what I'm saying? Latoya Hayes said, that nigga is a snitch. I'm trying to tell you. Working with them folks. Yeah, okay, so reprogramming say he talking. You gotta be. What's up, niggas? Man, yeah. Hey, what's good, bro? What's good? I see you in the building. That's what's up. Niggas X in the building. That's what's up. All right. Okay, we got Rose in the building. What's up, Wabba? All right. So yeah, you see how this is going out. You see how deep this is. But do you think that we finished? No, we about to blow your mind. Let's get into it. Let's show you some videos, right? This is the rare footage that you haven't seen. Okay, where you're going to see this George Price or Papa Hollywood in action. And you'll notice they'll always keep the camera on him because he's the most important person in the room, not Pac. You're about to see this. And I have to preface this, obviously, with 1976 Copyright Act, Section 107, allowances made for fair use for the purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, education, scholarship. But overall here at the FOF Squad, waking your ass up, all right? Waking your ass up. Okay, so let's go to this video. I'm gonna prep it. So
Injured? Don't
hold on
delay.
1 second.
Get the
Yeah, bitch. I hate your ads. You're always trying to advertise some shit. All right. So let me wait till these ads finish. All right. So I'm share my screen. Share my screen. All right. We're gonna go to the beginning of this.
This little girl coming, she's gonna be all like styled, like it's his daughter or little
It'll
sister.
look like an old photograph.
It's gonna look like an old Walker Evans photo from the turn of the
So
century.
we're talking, we'll wrap what around.
So this is George Price. This is this dude. They say he's African American. That's what they told us. He started an African American Black Men's Magazine in the 80s in New York, and they say that he's he died at 86 in 2022 in November, and everybody praised him. He know everybody from Clive Davis to there we go. We're gonna read up on this shit. Matter of fact, before we do that, let's prep this just so you know who this guy is. No, matter of fact, let's let the mystery go in because I'm finna show you some shit. Right? Because what's so important about this video is called Tupac and Death Row Headquarters Bathtub Photo Shoot. This is in Death Row Headquarters. You want to know where Pac shot that bathtub scene? You know, that iconic and infamous bathtub scene with him naked and stuff right out of prison, supposedly? He shot it in Death Row Headquarters. Who orchestrated it? This man. This is the guy who determines how you see Tupac. This is Tupac's main handler. All right? That's what you need to know. Okay, let's continue on.
I'm a trooper too. You know, I was summoned to Compton for fried fish last night.
I didn't go. I didn't want me to go. I was like, oh.
Hammer was out there looking.
I know. I was like, I ain't going. We went to
Hammer's out
we went to
there,
the
bro.
show. We went to the Onyx show. What you mean by that song? Sight, hold it to the side. What you mean by that song? Who you mean? You shot my own.
I love it.
But I was like, no beef.
Well, they had steak, shrimp, red snapper, some other kind of fish I've never heard
This is
of,
tight.
and fried chicken and all that stuff. And I'm eating this like
Oh shit, they got Pac song playing, so I gotta go. I can't let that play. But what we're gonna do, without the music playing, we're gonna go to the if you notice right here, right here. And I can't keep playing it because Pac music is playing all throughout here, right? So this is from the Outlaws. The Outlaws are here and all of this different stuff. Tupac is getting ready for this shoot. He in his boxers, no socks and draw. He just in a tank top and boxers and stuff. And they getting ready for this shoot, all right? So we just, laying the scene for you. As you can see, let's just stop the music right quick. But let's play it. As you can see, they all walking in there, but they cut. If you notice, that's weird to me. But when it's time for him to go, they all walk in the bathroom. As you can see, they all walk in the bathroom with him. You see, I think that's Napoleon right there, one of the Outlaws. Okay, we know this is Papa right here. They call him Papa Hollywood. All right, they all heading into this bathroom. Pause. Oh man, I don't know, man. I'm trying so hold on. Let's go. All right. Now, what I want y'all to understand is this. In this comment section, what you see is a lot of people in the comment section talking about, oh, Pac act like he didn't want to take that picture, because my point that I'm trying to make to you guys is the fact that Pac was fully aware of what he was doing. He was complicit. And I'm finna prove this to you in what I'm finna show. And also, we're about to hear a little bit of the dialogue. I don't remember whether or not they're playing music in the dialogue, so let's see right quick, because this part of the dialogue is extremely important too, okay? So let's play it.
How's that, David? All right?
Yeah, that's great. Okay, it's just this under his elbow here.
Okay. Put down the logo, don't we?
Yes.
That's important.
Take that necklace away so I can see that. Put a little bit more coming up on the stomach, just so it looks like it's water, kind of spreading out,
Can you see him?
You can put some on a bread, like that, take that coil, take that thing you just left, and you put it on it, yeah, just like that, on the other spot. Just kind of, that's it. That's great.
Bathing in bijou.
Okay, Jay, come on the shot.
Okay, you want to shoot?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Let me just
Am I all right here?
Yeah, David.
You want me out of the way too?
Yeah, okay, here, I'll take it forward.
Okay, just your eyes.
Moonface said, shit. Hold on. B. Aaron K said, where are the women? Hold on. I know y'all got me cracking up in the shop, but let's continue. Hold on.
We one with the other lens, and then we go straight.
Give me the 120. You lost your chain, but it's all right.
Go ahead, push David.
Just the one at the waist.
Yeah, you want to go in and do a little styling?
There's a,
I'm all right.
quick puller.
No, if you see, no, seriously, if you see something,
Yeah.
yes.
If it's getting uncomfortable for you, if this is getting uncomfortable for you, you got to start facing we got to start facing what they done put in front of us, y'all. I'm just telling you. Let's go.
Could you put that ring on his chest a little further up? Yeah, that's it. Great. No, Jake, the other lens.
Yeah. Stylist.
The white one. Take it to ultra wide.
Just keep
Hey, jack of all trades, master of none.
Hey, Papa G.
Yes.
Tell BT, don't try this at home, kid.
Don't try this at home, BG.
What's that about to say?
Don't try this at home. We know we
You
do.
see him?
Beautiful. Look at it.
You good with that?
I'm ready. Third.
Which side you want to start with?
Start with the other one.
All right.
And go back to.
All right, let me get the other body. And 55.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. Because I don't want to miss the conversation when it starts.
You know the cover? Was that one picture?
Okay, here it goes. I spoke it up. Okay, so he's about to ask about the cover. He said, was that one picture? He's speaking about the Vibe magazine cover, okay? So this is going to let you know, like, remember when we was reading that article, it tried to allude to the fact that somebody else was responsible. This man is going to show you, because you don't have any context, right? So most people watching this video may not even know what they were talking about. They're talking about the Vibe album cover, all right? So let's let them continue.
What, the Vibe or New York
New York
Times?
Times.
Oh yeah, one shot, that's Michael O'Neill. One shot.
But the Vibe shot was a composite, right?
Composite, yeah,
How many
they-
was it? shot in different places?
Yeah, and those are all individual shots that I did for publicity, and then I worked with Vito Man.
All individual shots I did for publicity. Then I work with Vito Man and all that different stuff. He's the architect behind this. How you seen Tupac? See, this is what you gotta understand. Sidebar. We're gonna come back to this. I'm finna minimize this screen right quick because I got something to say to y'all face. Because I ain't scared. I got something to say to your face. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to Obe about this. I was saying that I had seen an episode of Bill Maher. Right, and Bill Maher had a guest on his show, and he had said something to the effect of, the guest had said, "Oh, you know, that's a black thing." And Bill Maher said, "It's hardly a black thing I don't know about." And you know, my reaction was, "You don't know nothing about us, nigga." You know what I'm saying? Man, what you act like you know us for? You know. But the reality of it is these Jewish people not only have been constructing our political history, but also the music. Yeah, it's ours, but how we see it, how we interpret it, who's the heroes, who's the villains, are all orchestrated, are all articulated by them. That's why it is a black thing that they don't know about. They can not only control it all, but they steer the ship. They have determined how we see these individuals. So when you thought that this was something Death Row was doing, and this was from the mind of these individuals, also the mind of Pac, yeah, Pac, we're showing his complicity, but we're also showing you how they put these things together. All right? This is a guy who is director of communications and media relations. How you seen Tupac? All that scary, we a thug, Suge Knight, a big bully, all this. This was all they're doing. They're letting you know we put these images together. We orchestrated this. You thought this was organic? You thought you was raised up listening to these people and they just popped out of nowhere? Nothing could be further from the truth. And on that note, I am killing you niggas. All right, back to the damn. Let me get back and play the rest of this video, all right?
And had him
That's cool.
create that.
Steven, I'll get some tape.
Tape. How much do you need?
Just for the sake.
I don't have any here. Let me get some from Daphne.
It's alright, I got it, Steven.
You got enough there?
Good.
Jake?
Turn your watch on.
Whenever you're ready, go. Film for it.
Yeah. Oh, is this your bracelet? Okay.
Yeah. That matches the watch.
This is great. I'm glad we did this. Just putting it out of the way. Just want to get over a little bit.
You want to show it?
Hold on, I'm just going to put my foot over here.
Just wash your light. Your head.
Oh, let me just look real quick.
No, that's just it.
Am I over it too much?
You're fine. Go ahead.
Jake.
Perfect.
Okay, this is the part that I was waiting on, you guys. Didn't mean to play too much of this, but this is what I was waiting on. So I didn't want to play too much of this. I just wanted to show you how complicit Pac was, because a lot of people be like, "Oh, he was forced to do it and he didn't want to do it." Here's the proof right here. Let's go.
That's it. Yeah, a little bit more. Oh, it's fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, that's tight. That's tight.
Good.
Look at that a little longer, please, George.
Yeah.
You're just looking at it, I'm not here, kind of thing, like it would be if I wasn't here.
This is tight pop.
See, he says this is tight, Pac. I don't know if you can hear because this video is low. I've raised the volume as much as I possibly can, but now he's telling Pac this is tight because he let him know we going with this regardless if you want to or not, right? He's the handler. Let's go.
Okay, Jay got the lens?
Change out first.
Which lens you want?
Let me see the photo. Ultra wide.
All right, Pac just says, let me see the photo. He don't hear Pac at first, but Pac is asking him, let me see the photo.
Yeah.
Come to back. Hold on. Take the lens, Steven.
This is 3, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, Pac says that's dope. That was his exact words. Let's go back just a little bit. I don't know if you're able to hear it. Hold on.
You need help? And hand off to me if you want. You need help?
Well, I ain't gonna go back because I'm tired of even looking at this, y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you up. So we're gonna minimize that. But you can go look at this video yourself, and I don't want to play too much of it because you know ScrewTube already been giving me problems. But I had to get y'all the concrete evidence. If we don't get to see this because they take it down, or you other people don't get to see this, at least y'all was here, so y'all got the good stuff. All right, you know what I'm saying? People didn't want to tune in for the live, you know, or YouTube not doing their thing, you know. But we showing you. You know how this all goes down, and we're showing you that he was complicit. That's one thing that you got to understand, because a lot of our people think that he was forced to do that. Okay, so he did. You know, Pac was complicit in that. Pac thought it was dope. You see what I'm saying? So let's go to another article that I want to read for you guys, just to let you know how complicit Pac was in all of this. All right. All right. But before we do that, let's show you exactly who this guy was. I'm gonna share my screen right quick. Let's get into it. Let's go over this stuff, right? All right. Here's him. You know, AP. This is published 6:16 p.m. January 3rd, 2023. Entertainment giant George Papa G. Price passes at 86 years old, November 28, 2022. Neptune Society to handle funeral arrangements. Oh, I'm finna get off into the Neptune Society and all this different stuff. Y'all about to see how the world is being ran for real, man. All these people on YouTube talking about, I do my research. They going off on Puffy and all of these. And yeah, you know why they going off on Puffy and all that? They're comfortable with going off on these people. Not to say that he shouldn't be reprimanded for obviously his grotesque actions. But what we're saying is, you paying too much attention to the fall guy. You paying too much attention to the fall guy. They making us the face of degeneracy and sexual deviancy. But it's them, and we finna show that without a shadow of a doubt. We finna get into it. I ain't even showed y'all the meat of this stuff yet. Okay? This is all the occult, and you have to know that. All right? This man received his Bachelor's of Arts degree. This is what these people have in common. You think these people go to college for these arts degrees, like an art degree? Why would I go for that? But you know, anytime, this is all symbolism. When you go into arts degree, you take a philosophy, Greek mythology. All of this different stuff is what you taking to get an arts degree, people. And if you do it right and you get invited into the right circles, you get opportunities like this. Okay? Opportunities like Pac and Jada got. All right? Understand that. All right. Price was vice president, executive director of communications, media relations, damage control, and crisis management. He wasn't no damage control and crisis management. As you can see from the previous video, it just showed you that he was the architect of all of this. He was the architect, acting like they was back doing crisis management. Oh, like Suge and Tupac was just running wild, no rhyme or reason. And then here come these people in order to clean it up. No, they were behind it the whole time. Behind it the whole time. Okay. Snoop Dogg named Price Papa G and or Papa Hollywood, making the two names a staple in the music business and putting the entertainment conglomerate on the map, earning over $400 million the first years in business. This dude in his first year in business was dang near half a billionaire. That's why, as you see when they in the video, they always keep the camera on him, because he they papa, he they daddy. That's Zaddy. Zaddy taking care of bringing all of this together. You better believe it. You better believe it. Music mogul. He a music mogul, but yeah, you've never heard of him. Most people ain't never heard of this dude. Okay? All right? And so you know, he dealt with people in Los Angeles Times, New York Times, Vibe, Source, XXL, Rap Pages, along with the prime television on MTV, VH1, CNN, Showbiz News, BET, Saturday Night Live, and Jay Leno, just to name a few. Like, this is just a few. This damn near the entire industry. This is who he moves and shakes with, right? Okay? So just wanted you to understand that, right? Now, what's so interesting about this? This was going to be so interesting, right? Is that, let's go down, because you're going to have some people. Oh, this is not the article. But remember when I brought to you guys, let me talk to you guys. Remember when I brought to you guys the guy who did the painting, of Tupac on the cross for the Illuminati album? His name was, what was his name? What was the guy's name? I forget what his name is, but remember we showed you the guy who did the artwork, right? And there's an article of him where he talks about how he misses Papa so much. oh, Papa showed me, he taught me about life and he did this, he did that. He just so happened to be into art, right? And he just so happened to talk about how when he gives different accounts when he met them and how he kicked it with Suge and kicked it with Pac and he was just there. He did some artwork and all that different stuff. But then he shows how much he's a part of the occult when this guy passes away, talking about how this guy was a mentor, how, he taught me so much about life. Okay, then that means you got a relationship with a guy who's worth who's a billionaire pretty much, and he's investing this time and energy into you. Why? How could this man, with as much responsibility as this man has, and as much, as he got his hands in everything, how can he make time for you? Because you were part of the occult. This is what you have to understand about these people. Nobody is a part of any of this without approval from individuals in high places, without the approval from those who swing through the corridors of power. That is what you need to know. All by design. ABD, baby, all by design. All right? Now, let's go to the article. Now I can comfortably go to this article. All right? Hold on 1 second. That's not it. What am I looking for? Blah, blah, blah. That one, where did it go? Where did it go? Come on now. I just had it. Man, that's a very important article. So just give me 1 second, you guys. I should be able to find it. I definitely need to be able to find that article. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. This is not it. All right, that's not it. Man, I had this already queued. Where did it go? I know you're somewhere. Know it's hiding somewhere, y'all. Just give me 1 second. All right. All right, so hold on. Let's see. Hold on, Tupac. Give me 1 second, you guys. Sorry about this. I had to, because this is important. This is very, very important. I cannot not show you this right here. This article is like I said, is going to. That's why I can't believe that it's not up here, man. I pinned this tab, so how it disappeared is beyond me. So hold on 1 second. Let me get this. All right, hold on. Let me say Tupac. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Let me look at this. Make sure this is it. Yeah, see, because they know they be fucking with me, man. They be fucking with me. All right, so this is okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen right quick, and we're finna read this article. All right. Video: Tupac's '96 photo shoot with Dave LaChapelle. All right. Hip hop 30th anniversary. This is Blackout. All right. So this is him. They're talking there. It's at 15 minutes of super rare footage of Pac's infamous bathtub photo shoot with renowned photographer David LaChapelle shortly after his release from prison. Here are some of LaChapelle's comments on the shoot. Oh, y'all know we do. You know, Hey Rue do some digging. All right. So let's read. It says, I feel that a lot of your work emphasis on beauty and people, regardless of color or size. One of my favorite pieces of your work is Becoming Clean, in quotes, quote, Becoming Clean, end quote, with Tupac Shakur, amongst others. How is it like How was it like work with him, or how was it to work with him? So obviously you have a typo. But you see this title, Becoming Clean, this was Pac doing because he did more than just that bathtub scene. He did one obviously when he was completely naked, just covered in suds or whatever, and it was called Becoming Clean. Now mind you, supposedly he does this coming straight out of prison. Now you have to wrap your mind around this. Coming straight out of prison, the first thing you want to do is be photographed by, you know, a zesty individual. Not to say it's anything wrong with being zesty, but these are the people that Pac is surrounding himself with. So you come straight out of prison and you want to do a becoming clean symbolism, because Pac is the one who suggested this, becoming clean. This is his idea, right? The bathtub thing is Tupac's idea. Okay, listen. Now watch what the photographer says about Tupac, right? He says, Tupac was great. He was very sensitive and is truly a good person. I wrote to his mom when he died, and she sent me flowers and gave me his last song, Ghetto Gospel. When we did the shoot, he had just come out of prison, and every shot has a reason. It's never random. Let me say that again. When we did the shoot, he had just come out of prison, and every shot has a reason. It's never random. So this was the idea of the photo shoot, him becoming clean. He had given this interview when he was still in prison, and he really opened up and was so honest. I had read it and thought it was so truthful. So for the work I did with him, there was this idea of washing away and rebirth. And we did another shoot where he posed as a slave on a cotton field. You can't make this shit up. Okay? They trace rapping and rhyming to call and repeat during slavery time in sugarcane and cotton fields to pass the time. It's on the Hotel La Chapelle book. Tupac came to the shoot 2 hours early. So not only did he want to do this, not only did he, you know what I'm saying, participate, not only is it complicit, this nigga came 2 hours early for this shit, okay? Which was very unusual for a rapper. So I wasn't ready for the shoot, and he didn't care. He reminded me of my black friends whom I went to art schools with. He was so cool, open-minded, and chill. He wasn't judgmental. Then later on, I found out that he had gone to an art school. Like you didn't know. You see this? You see this shit? Okay? And mind you, Tupac went to art school. The guy who's his handler went to art school. This guy, he's in art school. Are you noticing connections? You think that art school has just something to do with art, and you wonder why these motherfuckers be so into all of that shit, man. That them classes be full when you go to art school with Greek mythology and all of that shit, because this is how you get your access to the secret societies, because they know that the reality that they present to you is not the real shit. Plain and simple. We know this though, right? So I don't got to say nothing you guys already understand. All right. And look what he says to end it. He says he left behind a big bag of socks and underwear because he had just come out from prison and never picked it up. He died shortly after. I still wear his socks sometimes. And then he laughs. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. See how important that article was? To delve off into the give me, because a lot of people think when I go off into these rants, they assuming that, I'm making this shit up, or yeah, you running away with your imagination. Why are you interpreting it like that? Is that really how it is? And yes, that's how it is. That's how it was. And that's how it will continue to be, because we don't understand who's pulling the strings. You paying too much attention to the puppets and not enough attention to the puppeteers. Okay? That's what you need to know. But is this new? Because see, one of the things that we see always being pushed through the conscious community is that, I was even watching something and they were talking, some elders talking about, yeah, man, I exposed that this was going to be the way. You hear all of these individuals talking about, oh yeah, look at the world has advanced from bad to worse, and they got an agenda, and this agenda is now out of control. This been the agenda. How do you know? Let's go on. We're going to ease our way back into history, right? We're going to go to stuff that's relatively recent and all the way back to when these Blancos got here to show you that this is them. I told you, I'm going to prove this point. This is the meat of this. This is how all of this is going to tie and connect together. So let's get started, man, because we're about to blow some minds, man. We're about to blow some minds, all right? About to blow some minds, all right? Hold on one second, because we're about to get into it. We're not even finna play no games with y'all, all right? Hold up. Where did this go? See what my saves. These motherfuckers be having me on one, and they know I be hot because I be liking shit to click, and they. All right, so hold on one second, cause Hold on. Matter of fact, let me get another chat. That's probably why that's happening. It's probably why that's happening. Probably why that's happening. All right. Okay. So let's get into it. I'm finna share my screen right quick, and I'm finna show you how all this stuff is related. One, to prove a point with no reservations that this is how they've always been. And we're finna start from something relatively recent and go back. Just keep going back little by little to show you how this is always, how it always went down. All right. All right. This is, read this. Playboy interviews the first transsexual Bond girl. Okay. Now, For Your Eyes Only, the 12th entry in the James Bond series of films, premiered in June 1981. In the film, mind you, this is June 1981, a James Bond film. In the film, British model Caroline Tula Kasi made her uncredited Bond girl debut as Girl at the Pool. To promote the film, Tula participated in a photo spread with Roger Moore and the rest of the ladies in the pages of Playboy magazine. This transgender woman was posing for Playboy and was in the Bond movie This is her, right? Her, him, right? I just forgive me. I ain't up with all of the nouns and shit. Whatever it likes to be called. That's it right there. That Caroline Kasi, 1981, she plays in a James Bond film and she is posing in Playboy. So with that being said, this is what you need to know. This is what you need to understand. It's crazy how you don't see how gifted these blancos are at acting. While they sitting back talking about woke culture and these Republicans talking about how this is a new agenda. Ain't nothing new about this. Y'all been doing this. This is your culture. We're going to prove it without a shadow of a doubt. This is your culture. You see what I'm saying? Hiding this. And you got these men sitting up there, wanking off to Playboy. And I don't believe she was the only one. And we know this because there's more that they're telling us that pose for Playboy now. But this is when they wasn't telling you. Okay? She was ousted, or it was ousted. Okay? They was going to let you just lust for women on TV without you even being knowledgeable of it. All right? Without you even being knowledgeable of it. That's why you got to be careful of who they present to you. And they sit up there, act like people paranoid, like, oh, such and such might really be a man. And here they go doing it. They acting like we sitting up here conspiracy theorists, and here it is right in front of our face. Oh, you think we done? You think we done? Let's get it. Let's get it. Hold on. Let's pull up this article. Maybe you may not have known this about this individual. Some of you have, but a lot of us were not born at this time, but, his music still reverberated right into today. Let's talk about it, right? Let's get into it. Trans woman Tanika Watson shares untold story of 1982 car crash with Teddy Pendergrass that left him paralyzed. Teddy Pendergrass was in a car crash in 1982. How it happened was he was getting some dome from this transgender prostitute. Okay, Teddy Pendergrass, the man who women thought loved him, right? He sung songs, like TKO, Turn Off the Lights, Close the Door. He should have closed the door and kept it closed, but he had opened it. And what we found was him with a transgender doing some things which led to an accident. All right, we'll just leave it at that. Left him paralyzed from the chest down. Okay. All right. This is the transgender woman right here. All right. Then they talk about homophobia and transphobia in the black community. Talking about a black man having a relationship with a transgender woman, even today in the world of more acceptance, is still considered taboo and fodder for supreme ridicule. But adding that the man is a successful hardcore masculine ladies man superstar soul singer in 1982 was beyond comprehension and an instant career ender. Women were crazy for Teddy Pendergrass, and the scandal all but left their sexual quest for him catatonic. They realized they really didn't know Teddy Pendergrass by now. See, they're a play. They're all pun intended, obviously. But here you go. You're starting to see that this is what they have to be into in order to accept those deals. But we know this, right? We're not going to continue to sit up here and, you know what I'm saying? I said, damn, I didn't know he was going to mention Teddy. Yeah. Moonface said my mama told me about Teddy. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, this is how it goes down. Oh, you think this is something new? Do we think this is something new? All right? Watch how I play this on y'all. Watch how I show this is connected. I'm showing you as we have seen conceptually, we have become the face of degeneracy. Everything about the European, right? We just have become the face of all his degeneracy. Just like, when I was talking about in the previous segment a while back, how, roaches, cockroaches are called German cockroaches. German cockroaches, they come from, Europe. Cockroaches, all the shit that niggas get known for. Now, that was brought by the European. All right? But we become the face of their degeneracy. We become the face of their sexual deviancy, their behavior. All right? And how I'm going to prove that? Let's go, man. Let's fucking put a nail in the coffin on this shit. All right? Let's put a nail on the coffin on this shit. This just ain't entertainers. Let's get into it. All right? This is a picture of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, your president. Why nobody cared when FDR wore a dress. All right? Let's read. Okay, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, photographed in 1884. See, you thinking this some new shit. You're thinking this is new shit. Okay, this is one of your presidents, brothers and sisters. Let's see, you ain't got the Blanco sitting up here talking about this. Okay, because he knows that this is his culture. Matter of fact, let's get into it. A Smithsonian.com article on gendering trends in clothing, when did girls start wearing pink, has me thinking about lots of things, from how I dress my son to how I portray children in my novels. Here's the article's answer to why it was perfectly unexceptional for FDR to wear a dress in the above photo. Social convention. 2 key words. He's at a social convention of 1884 when FDR was photographed at age 2.5. His dad is in this photograph, okay? Dictated that boys wore dresses until age 6 or 7, also the time of their first haircut. Franklin's outfit was considered gender neutral. Okay, now pause. We about to do some critical thinking. Right quick. Why is this important? Why is 1884 important? Remind you, this is 1884. These Blancos supposedly said their first establishment in Jamestown was in 1607. Man, let me start sidebar. I gotta start cracking heads because we gotta start putting this shit together. But like we've always said, a lot of people say that they can see the dots, but not a lot of people have enough awareness and analytical skills to put them together. And this is what we're exceptional at doing. Let's take a look at an article sidebar. Act like we veering off to the left, but we're gonna make all this shit make sense and connected and put it all together. Be patient with me, brothers and sisters. But here we go, right? Let me show you something right quick. All right? We just got to go to the facts so people remind themselves. Jamestown, Virginia is supposed to be the first settlement, Jamestown Colony, which we know was named after King James. All right? 1607. Okay? 1607. These people came here because this is, okay, and this source is Encyclopedia Britannica, okay? These people came here. I want to show you what the manifest said. How many people was on this ship? Right? We want to know how many people was on this ship because according to slavery and it's romanticized, you think that these Blancos came with slaves and all of this different shit. We're going to prove you wrong. We're going to see how this information is conflicting because they know it's false. Okay? But there were a contingent of approximately 105 colonists departed England late December 1606 in 3 ships, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery, okay, under the command of Christopher Newport. This is where you get Newport cigarettes named after, right? All right, but that's neither here nor there. That's not even a part of it. Let's just continue to keep going down, right? We're going to go down to something critical, right? These Blancos ain't even been here 2 years yet, and guess what happens? The starving time and near abandonment. In the autumn of 1609, after Smith left, Chief Powhatan began a campaign to starve the English out of Virginia. The tribes under his rule stopped bartering for food and carried out attacks on English parties that came in search of trade. Hunting became highly dangerous as the Powhatan Indians also killed Englishmen they found outside the fort. Long reliant on the Indians, the colony found itself with far too little food for the winter. As the food stocks ran out, the settlers ate the colony's animals. Oh my goodness, man. I gotta show y'all. I would rather eat grass than to just eat animals. Okay, they ate horses, dogs, and cats, and then turned to eating rats, mice, and shoe leather. In their desperation, some practiced cannibalism. The winter of 1609 to 1610, commonly known as the starving time, took a heavy toll. Of the 500 colonists living in Jamestown in the autumn, fewer than 1/5 were still alive by March 1610. 60 were still in Jamestown. Another 37, more fortunate, had escaped by ship. So what's so important about this? What's so important about this? Let me go back. If the narrative, which is romanticizing slavery, is true, and they came in with these slaves, and the Blanco just had a good time, he's trading with the Indians, and he's eating and all this different stuff, it shows you how over-reliant he was on the Indians, right? The so-called Indians. And it showed you if he had any slaves to speak of, he would have ate them motherfuckers. He didn't have shit to eat. Less than 1/5 of his ass survived on the first journey. But yet, you taught in school like these Blancos came here with all this superiority, all of these weapons, all of this know-how, all of this knowledge, and established themselves. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? And they came here with a degenerate philosophy, a degenerate sexual behavior, a degenerate disposition that they condition you to have. So if you've seen Franklin Delano Roosevelt, let's go back to the article. Here's now a convention in 1884, right? And they selling you, let's continue to keep reading. Let's continue to keep reading. Let's go to the most important part of this. Okay? And this is what the woman who writes this is what he says. It says, it's really a story of what happened to neutral clothing, said Paleoli. For centuries, what did I just say, brothers and sisters? For centuries, she says, children wore dainty white dresses up to age 6. What was once a matter of practicality, you dress your baby in white dresses and diapers, white cotton can be bleached, became a matter of, oh my God, if I dress my baby in the wrong thing, they'll grow up perverted. So she's trying to justify this nature, this perverse nature of this Blanco when they come here. All right. She already let you know they did this for centuries. What's this date? This date is 1884. Even if you take away 200 years, just 2 centuries, right? You got them on the brink still of disaster. They're just now colonizing the land, which means what? Before they came here, they brought this shit here. This was them. This is their character. As you said, this is a social convention amongst Blancos. This is a man, this grown ass man has his son in this up until the point where he's 6 or 7 years old, brothers and sisters. I am killing you niggas. Okay? All right? This is the nature of these motherfuckers. What you got to understand talking about dresses. He ain't just got the dress. He got the hat. He got the shoes. What you talking about dressing? Talking about the color. You see how they distract you? Oh, the color. Pink is for girls. Blue is for boys. They're putting this stuff on us and everything. This was not how things used to be. So once again, what's my point, brothers and sisters? Once again, what's my point? How many people from communities, our community, conscious community, talk about, did not tell you the agenda was coming? Did not tell you how things have changed? This is how it's always been. This is how Blanco's always been. I am the most dangerous mind on ScrewTube. Because see, this is how you keep thinking that the Blanco can change, because you don't know its beginnings. This is why you keep thinking the Blanco can change, because you are not aware of his beginnings. Okay? So, why, as we look at all of these things, why is some of these things important? Why is some of these things important? Because they got you participating in their rituals. Sidebar. Because I'm going to make this all come together, because in my conclusion, I'm going to, to tackle every issue that we've just presented, just to, weave it all together so this makes sense to all those who may not be, who watch the channel frequently. But we know that they have to, because like I said before, all my views exceed my membership. So we know they're watching, right? And we know they're taking their time, to delve through it and see what they could do to hinder, the progress that we're making amongst our spiritual family. But I don't think they're gonna win, y'all. I think your boy Heru, I just think I'm destined to do this shit right here, y'all. I'm telling y'all, let's not worry about who in the chat or how many people we got, because we know that they actually is people watching. YouTube, ScrewTube don't want that to be known, but it is what it is, all right? So I'm gonna share my screen, okay? And I want to see if many of you even knew this. All right? Let's this Today is the feast day of Adam and Eve, all right, by Dr. Taylor Marshall. Christmas Eve is also the feast day of Saint Eve and Saint Adam, too. They made these motherfuckers saints, all right, but you're going to see the symbolism, all right? Okay. It says, yes, Adam and Eve are saints in the Catholic Church, and they are traditionally honored on December 24th, Christmas Eve. They are exemplars of humble penance for their original crime against God. Previously, medieval Christians enjoyed performances on Christmas Eve called paradise plays. They recounted how Adam and Eve lost their innocence by eating the fruit of the tree. Some have speculated that the placement of a tree decorated with red apples for this dramatic paradise play is the true origin of the Christmas tree decorated with red apples or red ornaments. Soon the people copied the practice and placed paradise trees in their homes. So these red ornaments that people place on their paradise trees are supposed to represent the apple that Eve had convinced Adam to eat that threw them out of the garden. Why is this important? Okay, let's recap just a minute before we go off into drawing our conclusions about a lot of the information we just presented. Now, I've told you in previous segments about fruit. The technical definition of a fruit is the ovary of a female plant. The technical definition of a fruit is the ovary of a female plant. Now, what is the technical definition of a flower? All right. I'm going to wait in the chat. I'm going to see. I mean, because it's not common knowledge. So we ain't got to be embarrassed if we don't know, because this is all we're all learning from each other. I want to see if any of us know what's the technical definition of a flower. Can anybody in the chat tell me the technical definition of a flower? And I'm going to wait. How many can get? I mean, just I'm wait a second or so, but if I don't receive any comments, I know there's a delay, so I'm gonna wait. But I want to see if any of us know the technical definition of a flower. Let me see. All right, maybe this delay is too long because I know the FOF squad, what I'm saying, this is going to make some statements, but let's not hold nobody in suspense because we ain't going to hold you long, right? Because we got to beat that 2 hour mark because Screw to like, man, we'll cut this nigga off, bro. We crashing shit, right? Let's not spook this. Let's look at the energy. The energy going to be right, so we ain't worried about that. All right, we ain't worried about that. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. And then we're going to put all of this together. We're going to put all of this together for y'all, right? Okay, hold on. Let me see. See where this is at. All right. All right. So I'm finna share my screen. Right quick. Oh, man, see the FOF. Y'all just too, man. That's why I rock with the FOF squad. That's why I rock with the FOF squad, because y'all be on point. Exactly. The flower represents the characteristic reproductive structure. Okay, as popularly used, the term flower in quotation marks especially applies when part or all of the reproductive structure is distinctive in color and form. This is where you get the term when they say, we apply this to women when, a young girl may have been assaulted, or a woman, they say that she was deflowered. Okay, this is where these terms come from. All right, this is where these terms come from. All right, so regardless of their variety, all flowers have a uniform function: the reproduction of the species through the production of seeds. Okay, so this is a very powerful point that's going to be made. So I can't wait for the conclusion for you guys to see how I weave all of this stuff together. All right, production of the seed. Okay, and so we get that, we see this, right? And so let me get out of this. So now we know we've got the definition of a flower. So what I want you guys to understand is, now you see the heavy symbolism, right? When you see the purpose of flowering, and when you see springtime and how they've replaced the symbol of fertility with the blanco, symbol of fertility, the black woman replaced her with the blanco. She is like the quintessence of what fertility represents. Nothing could be further from the truth, right? And we've already provided videos to, obviously, dispel that myth. But the point is like, what we're seeing is, we always talk about, why is there such an adulteration of sexual energy? Why do we should be concerned about what's happening in somebody's bedroom? Why, this what we seen with Pac and all of that. ruffle our feathers, so to speak? Why does that get us uncomfortable? Because we know that the Blanco, his mastery is over sexual energy. That's what he's choosing to dominate. And how do we know that? Because, see, we look at our food in one particular way, one dimension. We just look at it for sustenance. But we have to realize, like I had talked about in previous videos, that our energy, our very life force, comes from the ovaries or sexual energy of a female plant. And the primary responsibility of the flower in its anatomy, obviously, is to make sure that it puts in energy to have seeds to continue on the species. Okay, so when you're here and you know in the Blanco's artificial matrix, and you look at his food and it don't have no seeds in it, you sit up there and be like, it ain't got no seeds in it, and you think it boiled down to the dollar. You're like, well, he's just taking seeds out, he's making it in his lab. It's all about the money. It's all about the bottom dollar. No, it's all about controlling sexual energy. When he takes those seeds out, he's taking out a vital component of sexual energy. He has just manipulated the sexual energy of that plant. Okay, and when we take in the plants, then we know we are what we eat. You are what you eat. So even if you eat a vegan diet and the sexual energy is manipulated, in turn, by logic, your sexual energy can be manipulated. The whole basis of your organism is to evolve, and you only evolve through sexual energy. What you think puberty is? What you think puberty is, okay? This is sexual energy being evolved. All right, this is the basis of your existence is sexual energy. And how you replenish that energy is through taking in Mother Nature. We talked about how if Mother Nature was enveloped, or if Mother Nature was inundated with moral outlook, right? Like, okay, sexuality is seen as negative or something like that, we wouldn't damn near eat no plants, because a lot of the plants that we eat are considered bisexual. Okay, the corn plant is it's male and female. Pumpkins, that's a male and female plant. Matter of fact, let's go to this, right? Let's also shift this, because I got to bring out another important point right before I start putting this together too. Okay, it says androecium. Androgens means male. Andro means male, okay, or group of statements, because it's talking about the anatomy of a plant. And in the center is the gynoecium. Gyno means female. You familiar with this term because gynecology. I told you guys, because I didn't want people thinking I was talking out the side of my neck. I was like, the study of a woman's sexual, the study of a female and her sexual energy is the same study with plants, because they know where you come from. They know where you get your energy from. That's why they named it the same thing. That's why they named it the same thing. That's why they call her Mother Nature. You thought this was just something they came up with? Because I've told you that they are fully aware that this energy that dominates this planet is a feminine energy. Pause. Sidebar. We also know that pollen is the sexual energy from the male plant, right? Okay. Now, didn't the Blanco tell you that he was allergic to Mother Nature? He let you know. We are now too, because we took it on the Blanco diet. But the Blanco, even now, when he tells you about the weather report, he'll tell you about the pollen count. He's allergic to Mother Nature's sexual energy. The Blanco be like, oh, I'm sneezing. Oh, I got allergies. I can't take Mother Earth's sexual energy, because somebody wasn't supposed to be here. And how do we know people wasn't supposed to be here? Because we told you about the selective and sophisticated process of when the woman, has eggs. Right? When the eggs get dispersed, right? It goes through a meticulous process, and they're chosen. Many are pushed through, but usually only one are chosen. But what does the Blanco do? He defies nature. He just takes the eggs, goes in his lab, and and injects the sperm inside the egg, and he's like, I'm gonna make sure that you're here. I don't care what the consequences are. So you see where all this perverse attitude comes from, because first of all, many of them are not supposed to be here in the first place. Second, you see through their composition how they are always at odds with Mother Earth. So once again, when we see these foods in the grocery stores and we see them without seeds, or we see them changing up the foods, black people will sit up there and say, oh, they doing it for the money. No, they're doing it because they have to. I told you, if they can't be in the sun, what makes you think they can eat the food from the sun? I told you, if they have a different composition, what makes you think that they will operate with sexual balance? The sexual energy will always be perverse, because that's the nature of this realm. Why you think these Blancos say, let me tell you about the birds and the bees? Because the birds and the bees and all these insects, butterflies and birds, they all participate in Mother Nature's sexual experience. But he sits there and tell you, oh, they grab the pollen and they hope to, yeah, this is sexual energy. It may not be the same sex, the physical act like you see with two human beings, but this is nature in her sexual acts. This is deep shit. So when you remove people like Diddy and Cassie and all these individuals, you remove the symbols, what do you have left? Perverted sexual energy. And we sit back and we like, damn, I wonder why it's all got something to do with somebody's bedroom. Because you don't understand alchemy. You don't understand nature around you. Nature is always involving herself in sexual energy. You can't get away from it. You eat the shit. You literally eat it. And then the Blanco calls it an aphrodisiac. And then you literally give your woman flowers for Valentine's Day. You literally give her the sexual anatomy of a plant, of a female plant, and she smells it. Now you're about to start looking at these flowers differently. You see it represents her energy. That's why you give her energy to her. It's all symbols. The world is ruled by signs and symbols, not by word or law. You must remember that. Let me take a look at this chat. I'm gonna say, Christian Powell said, I'm so late. Yeah, you probably catch it on the rebound. Angela Fraser says, great class, family. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Amici says, so self-actualization is spiritual. It is. It's that's why we gotta understand. If you notice, check about this, and you'll recognize this. And some of you probably have been littered with this shit on some of your ads on YouTube. Notice how the Blanco would demonize you in your younger years. Even your people continue to start to do it too, because everything is to demonize sexual energy. They'll be like, oh, for a female, oh, she hot in the ass, she out there. You know what I'm saying? A dude, he could be a hoe too, right? Just throwing it anywhere. Not to say that these things are right. You got to be careful who you give your energy to. But the point being is that when you look at yourself, when you get to your 40s and 50s, what does the Blanco tell you? Oh, are you losing testosterone and estrogen? Men are going through what they call male menopause. Females are going through menopause. What does the Blanco tell you? Oh, do you want to recapture your libido, your sexual energy? Do this with this. And this, now all of a sudden, when he know you're not a threat, because you didn't capitalize off your sexual energy and using it to transform yourself, what happened? You lost. There's only a small window for this shit. There's only a small window for this shit. He's aware of it. He knows that your sexual energy, he's articulated it and put it in one-dimensional terms. You only see sexual energy as fucking and making babies. How misled are you? You are in the dark. The Kundalini rising sexual energy is not just arousal. It is the very essence of you. When you reproduce cells, your cells are literally going through the same process as if you were to share your cells with somebody through the act of meiosis, or sharing 23 with 23, as we call it, half on a baby. You're always using sexual energy. You're always eating sexual energy. And guess what? When you get so sick and tired and your body is worn down and torn up for all of that bullcrap food that you've been eating from the Blanco's grocery stores, what does he tell you? He tells you to go back to nature and eat her sexual energy to repair yourself. I cannot make this shit up. I cannot make this shit up. You see what I'm saying? So what we're going to, hold on, where is this article at? Where is this? Okay, because I got to end on some part, because I'm telling y'all something. So we know that sexual energy comes from these plants. We know a plant's primary responsibility. Look, let me tell you how, I'm finna show you how it's so hard and why you have to have an analytical mind and have to understand what you have read. Brothers and sisters, I'm finna give you an important example. Now, anybody in the chat know that there is a such thing called type 3 diabetes? All right. Does anybody in the chat, or anybody aware, or has anybody ever heard of something called type 3 diabetes? I want to see. One's in the chat if you've heard of type 3 diabetes. Let me see. Let me see. So I ain't, I'm waiting on, it's just some delays and stuff. So I'm going to be a little bit patient. One's if you've heard of type 3 diabetes. All right. So yeah, Hamichi says he's heard. Okay. All right. So yeah, you guys have heard of type 3 diabetes. Now, for those who don't know, they have talked about type 3 diabetes as they changed the name because type 3 diabetes used to be called dementia. Okay, think about it. Your inability to process these sugars. Remember, we provided ample amount of evidence. We talked about how glucose is a sugar. It bonds in crystal formation. We know this because even to study DNA and to study all these things, they use a science called X-ray crystallography, which is a study of how crystals form. We went over this. We showed you the crystallization of lactose. We showed you lactose is a crystal, which is a sugar. Lactose is glucose and the galactose molecule come together. Two sugars come together to make a larger crystal. This is the nature of ourselves. This Blanco shell you crystals all the time. He calls it crystal sugar, salt. You see, all these things are crystals. We get so wrapped up into the outside of it, we fail to realize that the journey is inward. We shouldn't be concentrating so much on the crystals we put on our body, more so concentrating on the crystals we put in our body. Deep shit. Okay? So my point being is that one thing we're going to hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me make sure I got it before I show it. Okay. Did it pop up? All right. Man, I just had it. Hold on, you guys. I'm sorry about that. Hold on. Where'd it go? All right. Okay. All right, for the crystals we put in our body, because I'm finna show you why these analytical skills are so important, and why we always say here at the FOS Squad, if you do not understand what you have read, you cannot read. Now, one of the big things I like to, to consume, especially as of lately, because it does a phenomenal job, it balances out your gut flora, right? And it obviously does wonders for your brain and brain activity, repairing the body. What is this? It's called aloe vera. All right. But this is the brand that I get. All right. I get the farm aloe. All right. 4 times concentrate. All right. Farm aloe. Right. Now, what's so incredible about this? If you read the back of the label, now this is the best kind to get. Even though they still lying on it, this is the best kind to get. But I'm going to show you how they want this. They know that most of us don't have analytical minds because most of us don't do a whole lot of reading. And even if we do a lot of reading, even if we do the reading, if we don't have analytical skills, we won't understand what's being conveyed to us and we'll miss it all together. So it's like, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So this is why this is essential. I want to show you why this is important. Now, on the back of this label, what you'll read is the nutritional label, right? Nutritional label. I'm going to show y'all that, so I don't want y'all to think I'm making stuff up. Like, how can I get this? Let me make sure this. Okay, so go. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can't. All right, you see that? Light is kind of bad on that. But anyways, how it reads. Total fat, 0 milligrams. No cholesterol, little bit of sodium. Total carbs, 1 gram. All right? Let's see. No protein, some calcium, iron it talks about. And it says 1 gram, right? And so when you have other aloe vera juices, right? Damn, I forget. It's called Fruit of Lily of Earth. They sell it in Walmart. Now, it'll have 0 carbs, all that different shit down the bottom. Now, why is this important? Why is this important? Because this is a plant, right? Plant's main objective from carbon dioxide, water, and the sun is to make sugar, something called carbohydrate, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay, that's a sugar. Now, the biggest source of glucose comes from plants. So anytime, that should be your first thing. As an alchemist, you already wear that. Anytime you buy a product and the motherfucker, it's a plant, and a plant job main priority is to make sugar, or one of its main priorities, and it don't got no sugar in it, you're like, why did they take out the sexual energy? Why did they take out the crystals in this particular food? This is extremely important because aloe vera will not be effective without its sexual energy or crystals. It won't be as effective. Now, when you get this is darker. It has the enzymes in it and all that different stuff. So my point being is that on the back, it talks about glycoprotein. It said this is important because it talks about how it extracts the liquid from the aloe vera plant. It says they use a film evaporator which removes the aloe vera's naturally occurring water at room temperature. This enables us to increase the solids in our 99.7% AVL juice from approximately 1.5% to 6%, all right, which is a 4-fold increase. This is important because the solids contain the glyconutrients, glycoproteins, and polysaccharides, which are mainly responsible for the beneficial effects of aloe vera. So if That's not contained. You're not getting the beneficial effects of aloe vera. Glycoproteins is the sugar the brain uses. Let's go to it. We're not finna play no games. Let's see what these blancos say, and then we finna wrap it up after, and we're gonna put all of this shit together. Let's just share my screen right quick. What is type 3 diabetes? At first blush, it may be hard to imagine a connection between type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's disease, but these blancos know this, or other forms of dementia, but it's real. And it's so strong. Now, mind you, this is UCLA Longevity Center, people, that I got this article from, published April 26, 2017, author Stacy Colino, all right? By any name. It's the progression from type 2 diabetes to Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia marked by memory deficits and a dramatic decline in cognitive function. Okay? I want you to have this article because I don't have time to read it. We're approaching this 2-hour mark, so I can go off into this article and we can break it down, but I don't really have time for all of that. What I wanted to convey to you was showing you the strong connection between the sugar that you eat and the brain's ability to function at an optimal level, and how the body degenerates. And as the brain and the body degenerates with the bad sugar and the bad crystals that you take in, so does your chance to evolve to the highest level imaginable. The body begins to break down, and all of a sudden the Blanco trying to give you hormone therapy. Here go these hormones, because remind you make your hormones from sugar. Sugar makes the fat. You can't make fat without sugar. Sugar is stored as fat. You make your hormones, most of your hormones from fat. Okay? So in essence, you make your hormones from sugar. That's why I told you guys sugars are hormones. All right? So with that being said, he knows that in order to manipulate your hormones, he got you thinking to the left. You looking more at the meat and the dairy. Yeah, that's a big part of it, because he showed you that when you're lactose intolerant, you're sugar intolerant. Lactose is a sugar. We just went over that. Lactose is a sugar. Okay, which in turn is a hormone. That's why you're lactose intolerant, because you're intolerant to the hormone, which is the sugar. Okay, he knows these things. And so he watches you degenerate. Then all of a sudden, he play with you because he knows by now, while you've been distracted, he's been able to take over everything in terms of how you perceive things. Because so many people say, oh, they now taking over the food industry. They've been on the food industry. Nigga, you go to their grocery stores. Stop acting like this new shit. Once again, it's nothing new. That was the first thing he did. Slavery is all about taking over the food industry. Cotton, sugar, corn. That's all what slavery was taking over. The whole point of the slavery narrative was taking over the textile and food industry. What the fuck is wrong with niggas? And you acting like this shit new once again. Hold on, let me go to this. I can't see this other one. Looking at So thyself, great class family, appreciate it. Yeah, so basically, all in all, basically what we got to understand is this. When we see what's going on nowadays, the adulteration of sexual energy, and how our people are now being the face of sexual deviancy, we must be alarmed, because then you understand that these things will come to a climax. We start now seeing people, we start seeing these movies and stuff. And a lot of people are talking about, oh yeah, man, have you seen the movie or the I believe it's a trailer for a movie called Civil War? And then, lead the world behind. All of these people are talking about, man, you notice the symbolism, you just stuff deep, you see what's coming to, it been this way. They had no intention whatsoever of keeping this afloat, because they can't keep it afloat. Their existence is diametrically opposed to the way that Mother Nature operates. You see it in everything that they do. We brought out countless articles to do this. We're showing you that too. There are a group of people in our community that are complicit in all of these things. And some of them are these typical spooks who sat by the door, but most of them are not. Most of them have seen the energy from the beings who they interact with. And a lot of our people are in on this. We have to understand that. We cannot continue to keep thinking like, oh, because I'm emotionally attached to this person, that, it prevents me from, conducting an honest analysis, an objective analysis. That's where we're going wrong. That's what hampers, or that's what will, inhibit our ability to attain clarity. You know what I'm saying? We have to be decisive about this. It has to become a conviction. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that these people that they present, take away the symbols, take away the Puffy, take away the Cassie, take away, the Tupac symbolism and all this different stuff. What you see is the adulteration of energy. is what you see. Primarily sexual energy at that. Primarily sexual energy at that. Because they wanted to let you know, too, Pac didn't get away with it, or his character didn't. Because we have to understand, Pac also what? He went to prison for what? For so-called grape. All right? That's what he so-called went to prison for. So even that legacy could not escape it, because they wanted to show you symbolically, this is what it all revolves around. This is what it all revolves around. So that you must know. You must be critical of that. And you also must be critical of the fact that ain't nothing new with these Blancos in terms of this. This is their nature. They came here like this. Even as they were running away and they were being decimated. All right, they came back and they regrouped. And they came with a certain science. A science that obviously was imbalanced. A science that was obviously rogue. A science that was obviously unfamiliar and alien to the melanated beings or to crystallogians, because our crystals were intact. We were in sync with Mother Nature. We worked with her. We were in concert with her. This was a symbiotic relationship, but not when the European came. So don't tell me that this European don't know what they're doing. They're feigning ignorance is what I need you to know. And they're all actors on the world stage. And as we know with all actors, they have their entrances and they have their exits. And I say all that to say this. Who is God? God is the judge. And why is she the judge? Because she decides who wins and loses, not my opponent. Who is my opponent? He does not exist. And why does he not exist? Because he is merely a dissenting voice to the truth I speak. FOF squad, speak the truth.